Masters now on the course. Legend from New Zealand.
Yeah, one of the most colourful, happiest characters on the circuit. Rob, he's always stoked. He's a great rider. Throws out the whips for the crowd, but he's putting it all in this afternoon. Win Masters. He's a strong rider as well. Getting his tuck on into that final section. Rob just saving his legs for that final sprint into the line.
It's going to be a good time, I think. Nige second at split number 2, fastest through the speed trap. 48 kilometres an hour. He's outside the time set by Jared Graves. He comes down the line. He goes second, 7.984 back. It's a great run from Win Masters. He'll be happy with that.
Yeah,
a course I would say that wouldn't suit him.
Yeah, but he's a big, strong lad.
Yeah.
You've got, you can't. That's not going to be against his favour.
So, from South Africa now, Odendale. 7.7 back, 47 kilometres an hour through the speed trap. Great to see so many South African riders getting a chance to perform here in front of this adoring crowd on home soil. Of course, if you just joined us, this is it, the men's final for the 2013 UCI Mountain Bike and Trials World Championships from here in South Africa, Pietermaritzburg. And things are hotting up nicely as we get towards the sharp end of the proceedings in this men's final here. There's going to be a world champion crowned at the end of this today. We can't wait to find out who it's going to be. So, here he comes in. Oh! Well, that's what happens when these guys get tired on the bottom. The bike can get away from them. So, fifth for him, 11.097 back. A good run for him. Let's see him nice. This is what happens when you get a bit tired, eh? You can get bucked by some of these jumps. Ooh.
Yeah.
Loading up that rear shock perhaps on the face.
Yeah, just leaning a bit too forward, as you say, Rob. But here he is, Steve Pete out the start gate. Former world champion.
Go on, big lad.
The legend that he is and the hero to all the fans. He's off to a good start by the looks of it, Rob.
He had his first world championship back in 1993, unbelievable, 20 years of world championship racing. Pete, nearly 40 years old, won a national a couple of weeks ago, and he's absolutely going to be so strong on this bottom section. If the one thing he has got is power, so Pete coming down now, fastest through the speed trap, 49 kilometres an hour. He's outside that time set by Jared Graves, but it's a good time for Pete. He goes second, 5.871 back, and this man has no bounds.
That was a solid run from Steve there, throwing down the power.
And that helmet, of course, Nige, going to be auctioned for charity on eBay, I guess, after this event. And all the proceeds go to Michael Bonney on a horrific, from Orange Bicycles, who had that horrific road bicycle crash. So thoughts to him as well. But first time Pete's ever given a helmet away.
And it's a fantastic helmet that Trolley Designs have done. But this is a danger man this afternoon in my mind, Rob. Nick Beer coming off a solid result in Monsanto. He had a crash there and he was still up at the top, and he's been looking fast all through practice on that same bike as Stevie Smith, that Divinci that they've built especially just for this one-off race, Rob. And he was first in the first split, so what's Nick Beer got? He's coming in, he's close.
Here he comes down the line on that 650 Beer. Well, he goes 0.708 back. So yeah, it's second place for Beer. What a run. He puts Pete down a third, and he really shaved some time off that there. So he's only 0.7 off that time set by Jared Graves, and that's a great run from Nick Beer. And like you said, he's on fantastic form. The rain catching him out in St Anne and washing that front wheel out, but the Divinci team really got some things going on at the moment.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Rob, we've got first and second at the moment on 27.5-inch wheels. We've not had, a podium position yet on the big wheels in the men's race so far. So could this be the first event ever to be on the bigger wheels? It's going to be interesting to see.
So there comes Francisco Pardo, the Portuguese rider, Evil Vengeance Tour, a big hero back in Portugal, and had a fantastic ride in Andorra where he shoved it inside the top 20 with that 18th spot. And he's looking good on this bottom section now, Nige.
Yeah,
so
let's see what he's got, Rob. He couldn't get much of a different course to that one in Andorra, but let's see what Pardel's got on this bottom half. He's way outside the time now, but he's given it his all this afternoon.
So huge crowds here assembled. Look at the bank of people there, Nige. Absolutely Ramo here as he crosses the line. Francisco Pardo goes 15th, 418.392. Back, a good run from him. But like you say, yeah, couldn't be a lot different to the course. Very good, he's top 20 in Andorra. So there's your top three at the moment. Jared Graves in the middle, Nick Beer to his left, and Steve Peat, the legend, 39 years old, showing no signs of stopping yet either. Unbelievable, Steve Peat, his determination and mental strength to just be able to still compete at this level, Nigel, insane.
Yeah, but as we touched on earlier on, Rob, these special bikes for this course, and at the moment we've got first and second on, different bikes than normally you would choose for a downhill race. So it's interesting, having these different courses, different technology. It's good for the industry, it's good for the fans to be able to speculate and and think about this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So Zigo Pandur getting round over the last jump. Here he comes down the line, 10th for him, 12.851 back. Yeah, interesting times, Nige, isn't it? I mean, I'm surprised not more downhill teams went to 650B this year, actually. As we go to Isaac Leifson, but I haven't tested it or anything. And like you said, it's not as easy as you think just to switch, because it's obviously different forks, different frames, and then the tyres have got to catch up as well. There's so many things that have to be in place before you can run those bikes and make them run properly as well.
Well, with it being early days, Rob, all of our teams, we have our own sponsors, so each individual sponsor has to be in that development stage where they've got these things ready. And if you've got one sponsor that hasn't got a 27.5 product ready for you, you can't run it. So it all depends on what everybody's got coming into this race.
Yeah. So the Norwegian rider now inside the finish line. Leifson, 47 kilometres an hour through the speed trap, goes 11.70. 3 back for him on the Norco there.
Valiant effort there from a flat pedal rider. Flat pedals are definitely not going to be in the favour here today, this afternoon.
Not on this course, no chance there, no, absolutely. Jonas Fishback, Nige, he's a man who could do good here this afternoon. One of the big guns of 4-cross racing, and as soon as the UCI decided not to run 4-cross anymore, he picked up his downhill bike, and he's had some great results on it as well. And the pedalling, the jumps, definitely won't bother this guy, full of power.
Yeah, he had a pretty good ride here, I think last time we had the World Cup, Rob. And Fishback, yeah, definitely a strong pedaller. Let's see what he's got this afternoon. Looks like he's on a decent time, Rob, coming into the final section. This is going to be a hot one.
So, yeah, 29th here last year. Fishback, then, it is a good time. It's a really good time. He's pushing Graves there. 1.4 back. Fishback goes in a third. So that is a fantastic result for the German. And like we said, we thought this course might suit him. A big sigh there as he comes over the line. I don't know if that's a relief or what. Probably glad to see the back of that. So Josh Bryson now, riding for the Santa Cruz Syndicate. Teammates with Steve P, of course. Been a bit off colour all week, actually, I think. So let's hope he's got his strength now. He can lift everything together for this. His final run here at the World Championships night. Always stylish and fast over the jumps.
Yeah, definitely not a track that's going to suit Josh as much as some others, but he knows what he's coming into on this track. He's got Greg Minnar and Steve Peat on his team, so he's going to be working with them guys. Let's see what Josh has got coming into this final section. There's some crazy fans.
So he's had 2 top 10s in the World Cups this year, but he's still looking like he's got a fair bit left. Bryson second at split 1, lost a bit more time now. 8th at split number 2. Still got time for some big whips. Here he comes in up on the final jump here before this step down. So what's it going to be? 4:09, 4:10 the time. He crosses it. 9.709 back, 6 for Josh Bryson. And I think, like you said, really not the course that we would expect Bryson perhaps to really shine on this afternoon, Nigel.
No, not at all. I mean, Josh is an amazing bike rider, one of the most technically gifted riders out there. But unfortunately, there's just not enough stuff on this course, for Josh to dominate on.
To excel in his, using skills on like that, perhaps, yeah.
He's not, probably not as powerful as some other riders, but I've got to say, Rob, that's a fantastic run from Johannes Fishback, and I think the first rider on a full 26-inch downhill bike to get close to Graves on that trail, 27.5.
Absolutely right. So Faustin Figaro from France on screen now. Top cycle by Trek rider. And his best World Cup result ever this year in Andorra. 14th for him, 13th at split number 1, 14th at split number 2. Again, thinking he did well in Valnord, Andorra, that this might not be the track for him. But having a go there, didn't have the pace to go over that last hip jump, sends the step down. Here we go, crosses the line. 15.602 back at 16th place for Faustin Figaro from France. So we're rattling through him here. We're not far off the top 20 now as we go back. For Nico Mullally, here's a man with some power, Nigel.
Yeah, he's He's been on the Trek programme now for a good few years. Martin Whiteley running that programme there. He's been backing Nico and standing behind him, saying, you know, he's going to be definitely one for the future, and he's been steadily, you know, getting better and better year in, year out, Rob, and it seems to be paying off for Martin. So let's see what Mulali's got. He's a big, strong guy. Let's see how he's gone. He's on a 26-inch full downhill bike. He's on a carbon frame from Trek there, so it's going to be light.
And some big results in the Pro GRT. We're going to see his teammate Brooke McDonald come down in a bit as well. Fourth for him, 5.54 back. So it's a solid run from Nico Mulali. 4:06 the time of him. And yeah, it's still Jared Graves though leading this one at the moment. 4:01 the time. Nick Beer in second. Fishback third. Mulali, the man on screen there, in fourth. And Steve Peat, your fifth place man at the top. As we go back to the top for George Brannigan.
Yeah, George has been looking fast in practice when I've been watching, Rob. This morning he was one of the few riders that was gapping that whole rock section at the bottom that you talked about earlier, so let's see if he can do this. Second place at the World Cup Finals last year in Norway, and he's not had that lock six. There he goes, Rob, he just gapped all those rocks.
Absolutely.
That saved him a bit of time.
So Brannigan definitely on it. Had knee surgery at the start of this year. Haven't really seen the results we know that he's capable of. But he's fighting fit now, and he's starting to find some form again before we head to the last two World Cup races, of course, one of which is Hackdale in Norway. That's the next place we go. It's a good run for him though, Nige. He comes across the line fourth, 4.94 back for George Brannigan from New Zealand there. And of course, I bet Cam Cole, who had those horrendous back injuries we watching down there in NZ cheering his fellow countryman on. Antonio Ferrari Piello now leaving the start hut here. Rider number 22.
I'd like to wish Cam, you know, a quick recovery. He's such a good guy, and he would have been one of the favourites for sure on this track.
Yeah,
he was a big, strong, good pedaler. So we hope you're getting better soon, Cam. I'd like to see you back on the circuit.
Yeah, he'll be back next year, no doubt about it. The big horse will make a return again. He's had a lot of injuries, but when you're that big, they say the bigger you are, the harder you fall. Cam's actually pretty good proof of that. So, Ferrero Piello from Spain there, 15th in split number 1, 12th at split number 2. Coming down, he's going to be outside that time of Jared Graves by some distance, but still hard on the pedals over that big step down, Nige. Tucking a little bit there. You get the feeling that if you're tucking, you probably haven't got anything left in the tank, so you want to be cranking as hard as you can. So, coming up a little short there on that step down as well. He goes 12th, 11.6, double 4 back. A good run from him, but nowhere near that time of Jared Graves at the moment. Isn't that mad? The bloke leading the World Championship at the moment with only 20, just over 20 riders to go, actually 20 riders to go. Neither was a 20th starter, 20th from last starter, is on a single crown, 26-inch wheel trail bike. So, Andrew Neeblin then. Home soil for him. He'll be desperate to have a big result here this afternoon, and he's capable of it. He's the full package, definitely very fit, Nige, and can go really quick on this top section as well. In fact, 5th at split number 1, 2.289 back for him. So what's he done through that middle section? 7th here last year, Nige.
Yeah, we just saw going in that first section as Andrew went through, you saw the number 1 on his back, Greg Minnar, stood in the trees having a look at the course conditions. So, you know, he's going to be giving it his all later on this afternoon and seeing what lines Andrew took to now, once the course was blown out. So you can see this track, Robert's really making the riders think. You know, it's a real thinking man's track.
Yeah, that's right. It's definitely not as easy as everyone says. So boosting that big step down there, 4.45 back. But needing some work to do if he's to challenge the top 3 now. Had a big crash around the summer this year, broke some ribs, but came back with a fantastic 8th in Mont-Saint-Anne. And the Team Giant rider, I think probably a little bit guilty of putting too much pressure on himself when it comes to race runs. You know, that's what I heard anyway, but he's desperate to do good.
He is a fantastic rider, Rob, super technically good. He's a great all-round rider, but I just think he's not physically big and strong enough to dominate on this track.
Perhaps you're right there, Nige. So here he comes in. The crowd are going wild for Needles. Here he comes. Sending a step down. He's going to cross the line. 7th spot. 6.376 back for him. 4:07 the time.